When Mindy Croco worked the music festival about 10 years ago, she had no idea that she was about to meet her husband.
Yeah, we ran into each other a lot. We reconnected at the music festival, and then, well, now we're married and we have a little boy.
Her now husband, Corey Croco, was catering the music festival at the time while she was working with Jaha to put on the festival itself. While they knew each other from Westmont High School, where they both graduated from, they credit the music festival for rekindling their relationship. The couple married in 2015, the same year that they started their own catering company, Flair of Country.
2015, when we started the business, we also got married in the same year. So it was like, start the business, quit our jobs, get married, buy a house, the whole 9 yards. So.
In the beginning stages of Flair of Country, Mindy and Corey traveled to Florida to purchase a customized mobile food truck.
Our whole concept with catering in general, with everywhere we go, is fresh food cooking. So with our trailers, we're able to cook everything on site. And as we run a buffet, we're literally cooking little bits at a time just to keep all the food fresh.
They took their catering services one step further in 2017 when they decided to house an event facility at the Johnstown Airport.
Baby showers, surprise parties, bridal showers, rehearsal dinners. They keep us busy Friday, Saturday, and Sunday all the time.
So what does the future of Flair of Country look like? The couple says that they're planning to establish a venue of their own. Flair of Country is catering the music festival for the performers this year, but next year will also serve festival visitors. Mindy says that performer food favorites include whiskey marinated pork tenderloin, Applewood smoked pulled pork sandwiches, and their famous homemade mac and cheese.
It's comfort food, too, that just fill their bellies, and they really seem to like it.
Next to the story of a woman who opened a quilt shop called Angel Dreams out of her own home with people all over the United States purchasing her items online.
Yep, women from all over the area. They've gathered together at the quilt shop over the years to de-stress, unwind, and become friends. And wait until you hear the sweet story of how Angel Dreams got its name. Let's take a look.
Angel Dreams got its name from my two children and from my passion. Well, my son passed away in 2006 from cancer, so he is definitely an angel up in heaven guarding over top of us. And then my daughter Stephanie, when she was born, she's had many medical problems, so she's also my little angel because we almost lost her several times. So that's how I figured, well, we'd combine the two loves of my life, my children and my passion. So Angel Dreams it became. I have sewn, for years. I had to take home ec back in 6th grade, and I used to make my own clothes. In the shop here, there is 100% cotton. It's much better than ones that you would find at a discount store. In today's world, you have to have an online presence, even if it is just a Facebook page or a website. I have a website. It's www.angeldreamsquiltshop.com. Just about all the fabric I have in the shop is online, that anyone, anywhere in the United States can locate it and purchase. I have sold items as far away as South Dakota, North Dakota, Florida. They can get all sorts of fabric, patterns, quilting rulers, different supplies, thread, finished products. I do memory bears for people, and what that is if somebody has passed away, they will bring me their clothing of the deceased, and I make it into a really nice bear. I have a bunch of ladies who come in and they asked if they could open it up during the day while I'm at work, so they come in and sew. Our motto here is, if you can see a mistake while riding past on a horse, then you better take it out and do it again. Otherwise, it's fine, because every quilt out there has a mistake in it somewhere. One of the ladies stopped last night and she said, I don't know what I would do if you didn't have this quilt shop.
Welcome back. The Johnstown Area Heritage Association, who puts on this music festival, opened a new exhibit yesterday.
That's right. It's dedicated to honoring that anniversary in the last 75 years of baseball history.
Think about the biggest baseball fan in your life. You might want to bring them down to the new AAA exhibit. The exhibit will fill the 3rd floor of the Johnstown Flood Museum until September 1st.
We've broken down the exhibit into 3 25-year periods that highlight how the history of the tournament and how it's changed over time, as well as how the history of the tournament kind of connects and parallels with the history of Johnstown as a host city.
Lang says the exhibit travels through time, halting at last year when Martella's Pharmacy became the first Johnstown team to ever win a AAA championship.
So it's very appropriate that the following year we're able to have this retrospective exhibit that commemorate all that Martella's achieved last year.
So what can people expect to see? Showcased is the original All-American Amateur Baseball Association book from 1944, along with items from AAA players who reached the major leagues, including Mark Fidrich, Mike Holtz, and Pete Vukovich.
This team out there would now beat.
They'll have videos featuring interviews with George Arcurio III and second base and championship jerseys from last year's Martella's win. Lang says that AAA stakeholders, players, veterans, and fans contributed the artifacts. Visitors can also bring their own AAA memorabilia or write down their own memories.
Going here with their father, their grandfather, their family, seeing a particular player or a particular play.
Call it a triple play. 3 organizations have been working to put the exhibit together: the Johnstown Area Heritage Association, the Tribune Democrat, and the Johnstown Old Timers Baseball Association.
When people come through the door here, we want them to get a sense of what that legacy is. It's something that fans really identify with, and they come out nearly every August to watch.
You know, we heard from one local woman who renovated a building here in Phillipsburg to open a business.
And now we're going to hear from another woman who helped renovate a staple in the Phillipsburg community, the Roland Theater.
Hammers, saws, and drills have created the soundtrack for the renovated Roland Theater in Phillipsburg.
But the renovations, they pretty much come every couple of years. We're doing different things here to try to keep the place looking nice and going.
The theater originally opened its doors in 1917. It was open for about 6 decades before closing its doors in 1978 due to plaster falling from the ceiling and no money being put into its upkeep. That's when the community got together to save it. Today, you can call it the sequel to the original theater that stood here in 1917. INEWS says they've worked to keep the theater looking just like it did 100 years ago.
All of it is tried to stay true to the original condition of the theater. It really is like a time capsule. When you walk through the doors into the lobby, what you're seeing is very similar to what someone 100 years ago would have seen.
Nearly a third of the population in Phillipsburg can fit into this theater. 1,000 seats fill the lower level and balcony. A digital projector was installed in front of the stage in 2013. Now the theater is used for both movies and live performances.
Our main function is we are a first-run movie theater. We're open 364 days a year showing first-run movies, but we also try to throw in live shows throughout the year. The theater was built for both live entertainment and movies, and so we try to keep true to that original nature of the theater.
Last year, INEWS published a book about the history of Roland. Copies of the book can be purchased at the theater.
The theater has such an amazing story. It's alive today because of a community that wouldn't let it die.
There are no bloopers in the story of Roland Theater. Every step of the way made the theater what it is today.
The Roland Theater is really a true piece of living history, and nobody ever wants to see it go through what it did in the late 70s. So if history's any indication, our story will continue.
When you walk into the First Chance Inn Restaurant and Lounge in Kersey, you'll probably form a good first impression. This building has been a hotel and restaurant since the 1950s, but co-worker Raymond Kreis says that he always thought about purchasing it.
It's kind of funny, back in the 80s, I always come close to buying it then when it was for sale, but I don't know, I was young and a little bit afraid of taking a chance, but I always said someday I'll own it, so.
In January of 2011, he took a chance and opened the First Chance Inn. Kreis says a lot of his workers are family members who've been there since day one, which helps to promote consistent food.
Our cooks do an excellent job, and we've been fortunate that my two nieces have been here since we've opened, so things stay pretty consistent when you have that.
One of those nieces, Stacy Anders, is now the restaurant manager. She says over the past 8 years, she's seen the place transform.
Yeah, it definitely evolved. We had to get more workers, and it's gotten a lot busier, and just adding more food items on. And
daily specials keep regulars coming back for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Wing night Wednesday, Italian night Thursday, fish fry Friday, and prime rib Saturday, just to name a few.
We do a lot of wings and burgers, but we also do seafood, chicken, steak.
The atmosphere of this restaurant is described as hometown. Aside from the smell of burgers and appetizers, you'll also notice some witty and crafty signs on the walls that are all for sale. And a few years ago, they added a deck with a roof overhead for people to enjoy their food outside, rain or shine. So how did the First Chance Inn get its name?
Well, my family has had a bar in town here. It's the Last Chance Inn. So my business partner come up with the name First Chance Inn.
Even if you are only in town during the Elk County Fair, it won't be your last chance to stop in. The restaurant is open at 7 a.m., 7 days a week.
That was my goal when we opened, is to try to keep the prices in line so people can afford to go out and eat and take their families out and with their kids and that.
Our Skyview 6 drone took off from the mound in Westmont, grazing the grass before it raised over the Johnstown inclined plane. From weddings to proms, many people have gotten pictures at the inclined plane to make the beautiful city of Johnstown their backdrop. Our drone descends to People's Natural Gas Park, where the Ameriserve Flood City Music Festival will be held tonight and tomorrow. 3 different stages will be the platform for many local bands to share their music with the Johnstown community. Just across the Conemaugh River is Sargent Stadium at the Point. This is where hundreds of amateur baseball players will gather for the annual AAABA tournament. People from all over the area will be filling these stands starting on Monday to watch some baseball and to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the tournament. Now we're flying over the Johnstown Flood Museum, where a AAABA exhibit will fill the 3rd floor until September 1st. We'll have more about that exhibit later on the show, and there will be more from Your Town Johnstown after the break. It's that time of the year again for the Ameriserve Flood City Music Festival, a 2-day celebration of music in the heart of downtown Johnstown.
This festival has been going on for a long time. We've brought some amazing legends through here, including some people that are no longer with us, like Dr. John, Greg Allman, names like that.
The festival showcases tunes from artists of all genres, some who have gone from unknown to famous over the course of the festival's history.
We see people like Grace Potter at the beginning of their careers. We first had her here in 2009. So you can come and see Gin Blossoms, which is a name you know, but then you can come and see some other bands that maybe you don't know, and maybe someday everybody will know them.
3 stages fill the parameters of People's Natural Gas Park, sometimes with multiple bands performing at once, exposing people to new sounds.
Here we are in the heart of downtown Johnstown, in the middle of the National Historic Landmark of the steel mill, and you can see the incline from here and the stone bridge from here, and people come and they're like, wow, this is a really interesting community. This is a really neat community.
The Johnstown Area Heritage Association produces the event. Their festival committee recruits volunteers, finds sponsors, recommends talent, and hires sound crews, which have been setting up days before the festival. Many volunteers and sponsors come back to help year after year.
So many different people working and pulling together to make this happen for the entire Johnstown community.
And we're back live with Your Town Shellsburg. We've heard about some history. We've heard about a famous landmark that is found within the borders of Shellsburg, Tony.
But Shellsburg is also home to a very unique type of farm. This is so cool. Take a look.
It's common to drive past a farm and see cows and horses, but if you drive past this farm in Shellsburg, you'll see bison. The Bison Corral started as a small farm in Juniata County, housing only 4 animals at the time. The herd then moved to its current location along Route 30 in 1993 and is now home to more than 110 bison.
It really was still a hobby till we moved here. And then once we were on 30 and we had people stopping to look at the bison all the time, the light bulb went off and we said, we got to put a little store in and start selling some meat and try to market these things.
The family started a gift shop to sell its bison meat by the pound, along with bison souvenirs and Native American gifts, jewelry, and crafts.
There's a lot of different states, South Carolina, Delaware.
Since it's become an attraction to people all over the United States, they keep a guest book for their visitors to sign.
Illinois, Texas, West Virginia, Virginia.
Ann says the bison are not subjected to questionable drugs, chemicals, or hormones.
Higher in protein, lower in fat, even lower in fat than skinless chicken.
Today, visitors can watch the bison roam from the windows of 2 guest houses that the farm built for events and overnight lodging.
We have the brick house here, and then we also have one that sits in the middle of the farm.
The bison can be seen or heard from Route 30, where visitors can pull off and take some photos. But the family reminds visitors, stay behind the fence.
Bison look, quiet and calm and peaceful, and they are when you leave them alone. But if you disturb them, you can be in for a world of hurt quick.
It's one of the most well-known events in all of central Pennsylvania. Now in its 22nd year, Phillipsburg Heritage Days honors the rich history, culture, and tradition within the town.
Heritage Days has become now the focal point of class reunions, family reunions, church homecomings. There are 2 weddings this year, and it's a huge impact on the eateries around here, the motels, hotels, and it's great for the community, and it's fun to see all these people come back.
Phillipsburg Heritage Days acts like a magnet, drawing people who once lived here back to the community and further connecting the residents within.
We acknowledge the importance of businesses and organizations who have spent their entire life here, and we give awards.
The committee is giving out 9 awards this year, one recognizing the American Legion, which is celebrating its 100th anniversary. James says that Heritage Days works to preserve the legacy of Phillipsburg so that it can be remembered for generations to come.
We want to keep making sure people, as we get new people move into our community, really realize how important the history is of our town.
And recently, Phillipsburg has seen several renovations to some of its old historic buildings.
And when we come back, we're going to share the stories of 2 women doing their part in renewing the borough.
If you live in Somerset, you may be aware of the changes that have been happening uptown over the last few years.
Yeah, many organizations in the area have been working together to revamp, renew, and restore these streets. And here's how they did it.
Combining the past with the present. That's what organizations within Somerset are trying to do for the buildings uptown. Lee Hoffman works with Somerset Inc., one of the organizations helping with the uptown renovation project.
We have a hand in economic and business development, as well as promotions and design. So we kind of have a finger on the pulse of everything that's going on in town and the surrounding communities.
Many projects have taken place so far. In 2018, Somerset Inc. received a $50,000 grant from the state to fund their facade project. The project allowed uptown buildings to receive new windows and a fresh coat of paint.
A lot of older generations will talk of the streets and sidewalks bustling with people uptown doing business, interacting and talking, and we're hoping to move closer to bringing that a reality current day.
Somerset Inc. worked closely with Somerset Borough for the sidewalk project. Conduit for fiber was installed to provide a few blocks uptown with high-speed internet. Somerset Inc. also funded the Trinity Park project, which implemented a brick stage for community events like yoga in the park, musical performances, and movie screenings.
We have over 4 million people coming through the area by way of the Pennsylvania Turnpike every year, so the goal is to get some of them to come hang out a little bit longer, spend some time in our beautiful little community here.
What was once the Arlington Hotel is now the Uptown Works building. It's called Uptown Works and was renovated as a co-working space with an Airbnb on the top floor.
It's a co-working space, but it's much more than that. It's a place for networking, meetings, events, a great place for young entrepreneurs of any age to come and thrive, network, prosper.
A renovation that will renew the uptown area for generations to come.
If you love musical performances, amusement park rides, and great festival food, the Elk County Fair might be your favorite summertime stop.
We are a hometown fair, and that's what makes it special.
The fair got its start in 1974, and its family-oriented theme has been carried along to the present day.
My grandfather was one of the starters of this fair, and so I kind of wanted to carry on a tradition because we were born and raised in fair country in Elk County.
Looking down on the fairgrounds from our Skyview 6 drone, you can see all of the food vendors that will be cooking up a variety of foods. They'll serve tastes that will satisfy your sweet tooth, like cotton candy, candy apples, milkshakes, and funnel cakes. Or visitors can try some unique festival options like frog legs. But as always, you can expect some burgers, hot dogs, pizza, and sandwiches for the whole family to enjoy. For kids in Elk County, the fair is the last hurrah of the summer before the leaves start changing and it's time for them to go back to school.
Before school starts, everybody likes to come and have a good time, you know, and it's very inexpensive for families to come.
Rita says that one price at the gate will pay for parking, music, and even rides like the Ferris wheel and the Roundup. Generation after generation, family traditions are created here.
Yes, usually when they come one time, they come back the next year, year after year.
The Laurel Arts, Somerset County's central hub for the arts, began over 40 years ago.
We came about in 1975 when a group of local community members decided that Somerset County needed an arts organization. They came together around a table and developed Laurel Arts.
The Laurel Arts now encompasses 2 buildings in Somerset. The Dressler Center along Harrison Avenue houses art gallery exhibits that rotate every 4 to 5 weeks throughout the year. The Education and Dance Center can be found along Georgian Place, where dance, art, and preschool classes are held.
Kids who attend dance, we have adult dance, we have art classes of all kinds, whether it be oil painting or paper cutting or stained glass, pottery. We try to run the gambit as far as what we offer.
The Laurel Arts paints its way across all of Somerset County, not just the town of Somerset itself.
We try to extend it beyond just Somerset. You know, this is something for Somerset County because a lot of the programming that Laurel Arts does, whether it be our dance or our Studio Kids preschool, you know, we offer these things to people from all over the county.
Somerset has been giving visitors a glimpse into what Somerset and the Laurel Arts can do for them.
Thinking outside and opening people's minds to, you know, the different possibilities, and hopefully through Summerfest, you know, we have the opportunity to get people here and see what we're all about. And you know, whether they come back or not, we at least just want to give them a taste of what we have to offer here in Somerset.
If Somerset residents are in the mood to bowl, Terrace Lanes Bowling Center is the place to go. It's the only bowling center in Somerset. Homer Sleep opened the business in 1995 with his wife, Beth.
We've been very fortunate. We have very good support from the town and the people in Somerset. It's a great community.
130 people can fit in the bowling center, and Sleek says that from gutter to gutter, the place can fill up very quickly.
Typically on a busy night, we're looking at, we have about 100, 110 people in here.
And it doesn't matter what age you are, Sleek says people of all ages have come in to bowl. Terrace Lanes has youth to senior leagues for community members to take part in.
Our junior program, we have them as young as 3, and we have some of our bowlers that are pushing 90 years old now. It's kind of like a social hour, especially for the seniors. They come in here and have a good time talking to each other, enjoy coming in. You know, they have them 3 days a week, and they really enjoy coming in.
After being a strikeout in Somerset for nearly 25 years, Terrace Lanes Bowling Center has developed some regulars.
You get to be really close to a lot of these people because you see them sometimes, some 2 days a week, as many as 4 and 5 days a week. So you get to know each one kind of personally. You get to know about their family. It's a very unique situation. You get to see them, so many people, so many times a week.
Standing 2 stories high and measuring 25 by 30 feet, the Old Log Church is a famous landmark in the town of Schellsburg. It was built in 1806 by the town's founder, John Schell.
One of his things was to make sure that the community had a church
and eventually a cemetery. John Shell, for example, gave the money and took care of getting logs for one side of the church, John Mowry another side, George Rock another side, and Jacob Pelagas another side.
That's right, 4 different men built each of the 4 walls. But it took a village. Community members paid a $1.50 subscription to help fund the church. When it was all said and done, the church cost $225.
It's amazing it's still standing because most log places were not built to stay here.
The church underwent renovations in 2006 in preparation for its bicentennial celebration.
They actually righted the building because it was starting to tilt.
And even people from outside of Schellsburg may have a connection to this cemetery.
We do have people who are buried from the Johnstown, Central City area. You have to remember that back many, many years ago, I know I have family who had to leave the area for jobs in the Johnstown area, and they moved there, they lived and worked all their lives, but now they have returned to be buried in the cemetery.
For about a decade now, people can gather in this church for a Christmas Eve celebration, a non-denominational ceremony.
We do it all in candlelight, with the exception of having some battery-operated things so that people can see to read.
The church is open for visitors every day of the week, from Memorial Day to Labor Day.